Hello and welcome to Surf Pro Techniques, also known as Surf Progression Techniques for those of you who didn't know. I'm your host, Chapin Kruder, and today we're going to be discussing one of the most important, critical things for a shortboarder, any surfer in general, who is frustrated with not completing the types of turns they want, not making barrels, pretty much anything you're trying to do on a surfboard. This is going to be extremely relevant to you. And what we're going to go into depth on and dissect is foot placement on the board and foot movement across the board. What I'd first like to point out here with Malia Manuel, a young ripping surfer, is her front foot. Throughout this whole wave, let's pay attention to her front foot. And you'll notice her front foot doesn't really move. It stays stationary. She popped up and her front foot either landed there or she adjusted it very little in order to keep it more or less in that spot throughout this whole wave. As a shortboarder or somebody who rides shorter boards, this is something you want to accomplish. This is what you're after when you pop up. You want to pop up so consistently that when you land, your front foot is more or less always going to land in the same spot on the surfboard. You can check out my pop-up video to learn more about how to pop up with the right technique to ensure that this happens more consistently. So now that it's very clear that as a shortboarder, you always want to pop up with that front foot, landing in that nice neutral position in the middle of the board, remaining stationary more or less the whole time. Let's get really in depth on her back foot and watch her back foot as it slides up and down her tail pad throughout this wave in various different situations. You'll note as she starts this wave that she's barrel riding, and as she slowly comes out of the barrel, you can see her back foot makes its way farther back to the kick part of her tail pad. And then when she gets in that barrel, she slides her foot forward. And then when she comes out, she shifts her weight forward onto her front foot, sliding her back foot back as far back on the board as it'll go, setting up for the barrel, giving her the most control of the surfboard. Then when she gets in that barrel, she slides her foot forward, giving herself that nice plane across the board so she's not dragging. And then as she comes out of the barrel, she again transitions her foot as far back on the surfboard as possible in order to complete that last turn. Now, why is this so significant? This is so significant for all surfers because it's the transition and those subtle movements of your back foot up and back on the back of the board that are going to take your surfing from where it is now to a whole nother level. So let's slow this down a lot. We're going to take this really slow and take a look. She comes out of the barrel. Her back foot's far up on the tail pad. As she shifts her weight forward to her front foot, it allows her to lift that foot or more or less walk it back towards the tail pad, as you can see her doing here. So the movement is toe heel, toe heel, toe heel as she walks it back. It's only a few movements. It's pretty much sometimes even only one. But it gets her foot far enough back to where she can get control of that surfboard, do that little bit of check turn, come back to set up for the barrel. And then as you can see here, as she's setting up for the barrel, she gives it a little stall because again, she has the maximum control of the surfboard right here. She sets up for the barrel and then slides her back foot forward to maintain an optimal plane for riding in the barrel. Like we discussed in the Kelly Slater barrel riding video, where she's now has her back toes on that far right rail high up on the tail pad, maintaining that really sharp edge in the face of the wave, maximizing the hold of the surfboard and the ideal plane for staying in that barrel. And then as she comes out, she again transitions forward to her front foot, and you can see really clearly she starts walking her foot back. Toe, heel, or heel, toe. Now this is so important because I've been getting a lot of questions on YouTube about how to become a transitional surfer or a surfer who surfs more top to bottom and links all these maneuvers together. And this is the answer right here, folks. It's becoming very comfortable with moving that back foot up and back on your tail pad in the right situations, in giving yourself the best opportunity to do that transitional surfing. So I hope this helped shed some light on foot placement on the surfboard, transitional surfing, and how to approach it if you're somebody who's kind of stuck in that weird area where you don't feel comfortable lifting up that back foot and moving it back. Well, we rewatch this video and go out and start practicing over and over again, transitioning your weight to that front foot and then walking that back foot farther back on the surfboard. You also might be popping up with everything too far forward on the surfboard, and what it might take is you readjusting completely and getting yourself to pop up with everything landing a little bit farther back all together at once. So if you liked what you heard here today, please subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Facebook at Surf Pro Techniques, on Instagram at Surf Pro Techniques. If you have any questions, you can email me at chapin@surfprotechniques.com. You can always check out my website, www.surfprotechniques.com. Thanks again for watching.